It's not good.
Everyone gets stabbed in the stomach. Not Qui-Gon Jinn, though. He can get stabbed to, whatever, but he's dead because he sucks, right? I got to look at Star Wars a little differently now.
Dear God.
What is going on, everybody?
Look at you with the fancy intros, man. I'm like, God, half those things I was in a hotel on the road traveling.
You're on the road all the time, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's what you do.
Yeah. I'm leaving tomorrow. Back on
Welcome,
the road.
everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We got a special guest today. I'm sure you know this guy. It's Drunk3Po. Welcome, buddy. How you doing today?
What's up, man? It's a little different being over here on this side of the low ball internet. So
we keep things held up with duct tape over here, but we keep it going. You know what I mean? So nice. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've had, you saw what happened to me. I've had a tough time with Star Wars lately. It's been a journey.
You're going right into it, aren't you?
Yeah, no loop, man. We gotta talk about this stuff because honestly, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I know you're a Star Wars fan too. I know you are. You took a little break there for a minute. I think I'm at the spot kind of where you are, where there's so much apathy towards some of this stuff just because I don't even want to talk about it, dude. I don't want to talk about it. You're positive and you make people happy and you can be fake about it, or you can be negative and then people are mad at you because you don't like what they like.
Yeah.
And you get hate either way. So what do you do?
Me? I laugh at it all now. It's all you can do, man. It's all you can do. Star Wars right now is such a love-hate relationship because it was so powerful, I guess, in my upbringing. Yeah. And I loved it. And it's just I love the prequel, the things that, like, for me, I always say, like, as much as I love the original trilogy, man, I have such a deep love for the prequels.
Oh yeah.
And it's more, it's like, do they have their problems? Of course. I mean, we can talk about problems about movies all day, but that was back in the day, back in the time where you couldn't order tickets online. And so when they announced those films, I was living in right in Miami at the time, and there was, you go to the theater, you buy your tickets, and sometimes they sold them early. Yeah. So when the Phantom Menace came out, they started selling tickets a month before the movie came out, and they also let you camp out there as well. So me and a bunch of stupid young men went and Nikki, we camped out, man. We camped out for like 3 days with like 100 people. And it was like the coolest Star Wars celebration thing I will never forget ever. People were reenacting the movies in the parking lot trying to pass the time. People went out and bought like cheeseburgers from Wendy's and McDonald's and just passed them out to everyone. They did like Q&A stuff. They interviewed people. It was the coolest time.
It's a party, man.
And then people were like, it's like some people were like, hey, I gotta go. Like, I'll be back. Like, let me go take a shower. And they're like, yeah, we'll save your line and all that stuff. It was awesome. And to me, that just made the prequels, just seeing all that Star Wars love. And it was from every background of life, right, was in that line. Every political party, every race, every gen, whatever you want to call it, was in that line. And it was beautiful. And everybody had their favorites, and everybody argued about what was going to happen. But it wasn't like arguing where I hate you when it's over. It's just love argue, Mm-hmm. It's like when you're arguing, but, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, we're done. Let's go get a beer. Let's go get a burger. Laugh about something else.
Yeah. There was a big sense of community in the Star Wars fan base, right? I mean, even if we all felt different about stuff, there wasn't really anything that divided us too much. I mean, there were, like anything, there were a bunch of old salties who didn't like the prequels, but even that's starting to take a turn. That may be because of some other things that have come around recently, but it felt like a great time.
It was, and it was like that for all three films. And I remember like episode 3, it's just like the emotion with that, because at the time you thought, that's it, man. This is it. This is it. This is the only time I'm gonna experience a Star Wars movie at a movie theater. This is it. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And it's just enjoying that moment. And you know, we watched it at midnight, went home, slept, came back, watched it again.
Yeah.
And it was like it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, we got our moment like they did in, you know, the late 70s, early 80s. You go back and you watch it 17 times in the theater, you know, because that's it, like you said. And then we get this amazing news. Disney buys Star Wars. I'm like, man, this is going to be
happy.
This is going to be amazing.
I was so happy. And then when they released that first little teaser trailer of The Force Awakens, you remember that? It was like,
dude, you had the Falcon coming in and
it was like a quick clip, and then it went dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's been an awakening, and then everybody started talking. Everybody talked. Everybody looked for theories. Everybody looked for leaks. Everybody looked for spoilers. Everybody looked for everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? And I was like, I just want to see Luke. I want to see Luke on the big screen, because I never got to see him on the big screen before, except, I mean, unless you count as a little baby, in episode 3, but I never got to see Luke on the big screen. So it was like, and what they did was, so The Force Awakens comes out, and I'm watching my watch, like while I'm like, where the heck is Luke Skywalker? But I thought for sure it was Luke, like in that scene where Rey's fight, like Rey needs the lightsaber and it like flies out of the snow. I thought Luke was gonna catch it. I thought
so did Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I thought Luke was gonna, and he didn't catch it. I'm kind of like, all right.
Yeah,
so
there
I saw Luke at the end, and I was good. But then what they did, this is what they did to me. Then they gave us Rogue One.
Yeah.
And they gave us that Darth Vader scene, and all I could think about was, if they did this for Vader, holy crap, what they're going to do with Luke. What they're going to do with Luke is going to be unstoppable. Like, forget all that other stuff. Yeah, whatever.
And then it happens.
Yeah, then the toilet flushed.
Then the toilet flushed.
Right when you're surfing the turd, man. It's like the toilet flushed, man.
And that was kind of the beginning of the end, right? Or at least the beginning of the war, right? So that's when everybody started going at each other's throats. A lot of people were saying, you know, oh, you're stuck in old traditions. This is the way that Star Wars needed to go. This is what George would have done. And the whole time I'm sitting there scratching my head while everybody's arguing. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point.
That was the first time I was called all these wonderful names they like to call people for not liking a film. So, you know, that was them Last Jedi Day Wars, man. That was,
I know.
It wasn't close. I thought Kenobi was gonna get bad when I wasn't even close to the Last Jedi Day Wars.
I was sure Kenobi was gonna be that bad. As I was even telling you, I was listening to some of your old war stories. I'm like, man, it's my turn. I can't wait for this.
People had checked out. Like they were like, I knew it sucks before I even got in there, so I'm not even gonna bother with it. We're just gonna laugh at it at this point.
Yeah.
So,
do you think at this point, I mean, is there a way to get people reinvested, or is it just too far gone?
I don't think anything's ever too far gone. I think under new management, it'll probably change a little bit. It like, if somebody,
do you really think so, though? Do you really think that? Like, if they fired Kathleen Kennedy tomorrow, which I don't think is really like the root of all evil in Disney Star Wars, I don't. But if, you know, to appease whoever, they fire Kathleen Kennedy, they put somebody else in charge, do you really think that's going to hype people up and fix anything?
It won't hype people up. They would have to put out a product that is worth, you know, worth our time and what we think is proper Star Wars. Thanks, Becky. I see you, Brian. Thanks for calling me thin in the chat. Yeah, appreciate it. That's my good boy. That's my
sweating at SeaWorld.
That's my boy. But yeah, I don't think it's too far gone. I went from that whole, I can't believe they did this, I'm angry that they did this, to now, to me, it's the greatest comedy the world has ever seen. That's where I'm at with Star Wars, and it'll probably continue to be that way until they prove different because you just look at, like, take the Galactic Star Cruiser or even Galaxy's Edge, something that made my channel boom. Like when I first got started, I was the only one back in the day covering Galaxy's Edge news because I live right next door.
Yeah.
And everybody just called me, like, I'll never forget. I dropped a video and I was like, you're not going to believe this, guys. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and Han Solo will not be at Galaxy's Edge, and they will not. And everybody, I got more thumbs down on that. And I was like nervous. I was like, what the heck?
What?
People were like, you're a liar. Why would they do that? This is before it opened.
Okay.
Why would they do that? That's the stupidest thing ever. They can't be that stupid. Like, the comments were just like, you're just making this up for clickbait, like, blah, blah, blah. And like, because my friends worked on it. Like, they worked on it.
Yeah.
And they were like, bro, it's just going to be right after The Last Jedi. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's just those characters. They're not adding anybody else. I was like, you can't be serious. Yeah, that's it. Just that timeline. And I'm like, but the Millennium Falcon's there. Yep. Doesn't matter. Raise the pilot. Like, doesn't matter. I was like, what? And so I did a video on it, and that the video took way out, and then my channel kind of popped from there because they all came to like see. And you just look at that kind of stuff, and you're like, anybody here, and I know everybody in the chat. No problem, Brian, man. Get back to work. He says he's got to take off. But everyone here in the chat, it's so easy to say, hey, we're gonna build a Star Wars land. What should we put in it? And they just did the complete opposite.
Yep. Yeah.
They built a Star Wars hotel where I'm like, that's something cool. Like, I could get behind that. And they did the complete opposite of what they should do.
Everything they should have done, they didn't do on that. And I remember, I mean, when that news came out, it was years before they even started construction on it. And I remember hearing they're going to make a Star Wars hotel. I was already saving up money. I'm like, I cannot wait to blow way too much money to go to an overpriced hotel, but I'm going to be in Star Wars for, whatever it is, a
right
weekend.
There with you.
I was like, man, I cannot wait. And then it came out, and I'm like, what the fuck? What was that? How did that? What?
I appreciate.
What the hell? Oh my God! No way!
I'm saying I appreciate it. I made a lot of money off that hotel, and I didn't stay one night in it. So
you did, yeah, you did. Man, I remember when you were in the thick of that, the Disney hotel stuff. It was like 3 days. You were on for like 6 hours on live stream, just covering everything that was good. There was like 5,000 people in there, just like, I can't even believe this. Yeah, I really can't. Obsession. For 10, finally someone with some class on this channel. Jay is a boss. You keep doing great things in the world. Xwing sucks. Thanks. Nah, I love that dude. This is for the wedding. Thank you, my brother.
Bro. Wedding's coming, right?
And it's only 22 days away, man. Getting a little nervous. But thank you, Obsession, for that. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.
Such a great clip. That's such a great clip. But yeah, it's just like the total. You just kind of go, what are they thinking? And I think it's because I really believe that they went in with the mindset that we've got to capture the next generation and make them fall in love with Star Wars like the older generation fell in love with the originals. And
you're saying that's what they think?
I really feel that they sat down and said, we've got to just get rid of these other characters and build our Disney Star Wars characters and let this new generation, this younger generation, fall in love with it. So they'll be Star Wars fans for the next 20 years, kind of like what we are, because we fell in love with Star Wars. And now it's like every time, you pick up a wiffle ball bat or whatever, it's a lightsaber, it's just like, That's just who we are. I've like tons of lightsabers. I keep buying them at these conventions, but it's like, I just think they believe that because there was a podcast that came out not too long before Galaxy's Edge was open. And it was the original builder for Galaxy's Edge. And then he left that project and went to Universal. And they were asking him, and he was just like, Well, we had all 3 eras in there. It was Tatooine. It
Yep.
was the prequel. We had something for the prequel fans, the original, and the sequels. And we had different rides set up for each, trilogy.
Yep.
And I'm like, perfect, because that's all we really want. We just want to walk around and see Vader. There's Kylo.
I could have enjoyed
Fine.
2/3 of that park, bro.
Exactly. And he literally said on the podcast, he goes, well, right in the middle of the designs, Kathleen Kennedy comes in and says, we're going to stop focusing. This is his words, not, and I have that clip. He goes, he says, she came in and says, we are not going to make Star Wars for the older fans, but we're going to make them for the newer fans. So we're going to focus on this, not on that anymore. But then it's funny because they keep pumping out content, and I know they're not. I mean, we could say that they're dumb, but I know they're not dumb. Like when they saw the numbers for that sequel trilogy, and how it spiked in money and then just totally collapses like the next week, and how they probably left like $3 billion on the table from that sequel trilogy
easily.
And then they, the Mandalorian, when it was announced like a side project. Yeah, we got a little Western over here. It'll come out on Disney Plus.
We'll see.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
And then it just, the Baby Yoda thing blew up, and we all knew it caught them because they didn't have anything ready for Christmas. No toys, nothing.
If they knew that was coming, every single Disney store, everything would have had ornaments and plushes and everything. It would have
made $1 billion.
And nothing there.
Everybody wanted that Baby Yoda doll.
Yeah.
And they weren't ready. And so, now they're like, this is kind of popular. Let's just build around this world right here, which is a little bit of old, a little bit of new. Let's just put it all together and see what we got. So that's
they're in a conundrum now, though, right? Because the Mandalorian has been accepted by old fans and new, which is kind of funny because it flies in the face of that whole "we don't want to build a park for 40-year-olds." I think was the direct quote or something like that. And old fans and new fans alike are looking at a lot of the stuff in Mandalorian and saying, hey, this is good. This kind of feels like Star Wars. I'm excited about it. I think a big barometer is going to be when season 3 comes out, though. People are either going to completely reject it or they're going to be totally into it. And my question is, if that lands, is that going to be the future of Star Wars? Is that where we're heading instead of the sequel trilogy characters?
Yeah.
Think so?
I think it's already there because even the marketing for the Mandalorian wasn't big. Like it just was like it's a side project. Here's a little sideshow that not Filoni but Jon Favreau. I think the story was he went to Kennedy, said, hey, I wrote a couple scripts for a little show, kind of cool. And it's like, okay, go have fun making your little Western. We're gonna focus on this stuff over here. You go have fun making a Western. And they did.
Creative freedom.
Yeah. And now it's, now they have
oversight.
Now they have built this entire Disney Plus thing after it. So everything is connected and coming out. And it makes sense to me because Favreau was the big part of the blueprint of that successful Marvel 13
Iron
years
Man.
or 11 years, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yep.
If Iron Man didn't succeed, it wouldn't have worked. They basically were like, you get Iron Man if that works. He wasn't really a known character like Spider-Man or Superman.
Yeah.
And they were just like, then they built this blueprint and they connected everything. It's very similar to Mandalorian. Mandalorian, Iron Man. They mention Thrawn like they did with Thanos, and they're like, they kind of mention it here and there. So
we can smell that from a mile away, though, and that, for me, that kind of cheapens it in a way. I mean,
the formula worked for one. That's what they do.
That doesn't mean it's going to work again, though.
It's working for them right now, except now people are sniffing out the fact that Disney is easily using the George Lucas created characters to prop up the Disney characters.
Right. Right after they said that we don't want to do that. We're going to do something new. We're going to do something fresh. Let's get rid of the Skywalker saga. We don't need any of it. But we're going to come out with the Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi. Like, let's make these shows that we said we weren't going to make and then completely fucking destroy them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Book of Boba Fett propped up Mandalorian, so it's like Mandalorian's better than Boba Fett. Look at that. So Kenobi propped up, the Reva character that couldn't sell her lightsaber. So the fact that she walks off, it wouldn't surprise me that there's the show,
I can't even believe I made a video on that, or that I had to make a video on that. The Reva lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you had a character that nobody liked for one season, and then you put it on HasLab for people to back. Like, nobody was buying that shit.
In their mind, they think it's...
And that's why, so you were talking about earlier, in their mind, they feel like, we've made this. We've made something that kids are really holding on to and all these different things. Like, I felt like they just kind of held it in front of everybody, and they're like, this is Star Wars, and if you don't like it, go away, because eventually we're going to get enough people latched onto this that it's going to be successful. And a lot of people are like, no, actually, no.
Well, the problem is that Lucasfilm and Star Wars has a huge, their problem is that they literally use Twitter as their measuring stick.
Yeah.
Like that, fire Gina Carano.
And a beating stick.
Yeah, they got that thing trending, and so like she was let go, and then it's just all this stuff. It was just to see, like, everyone's like, we love Reva. It's all over Twitter. All right, then I guess they'll buy the lightsaber. When they announced when they only needed 5,000 backers, right? Was that
I think
what
it was 3,000. I don't even
Something
think
like
it was
that.
5. Yeah, and they got to like 1,100 or 1,200.
It wasn't even close. It was like 7% or 8% funded. Whatever it was, that was the first time that, for what I can remember, that it seems like they reached out to Star Wars saying, can you help us promote this thing? They wrote articles on it. The official Twitter and like the YouTube pushed it to millions of people. They got millions of followers on their YouTube, on their articles, on Twitter. Still couldn't get it. And if you read the replies, the people that actually liked the Reva character, they were all like, I'm broke. I can't buy it, but I love it. I'm broke. I'm like,
I try to stay out of that, bro. Like, you're good at navigating the Twitter space, because you just, like, really, when it boils down to it, you just don't give a shit. Bottom line, you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I still read stuff. I'm not saying I get red in the cheeks, but I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. And so it's hard for me to navigate that space, man.
I just look at it. Twitter is, it's just a source of information for YouTube videos. I find great relationships every now and then, but most of the time, like, my heart hurts for those people that don't understand how it works.
Right.
If some people really feel that whatever they tweet, everyone that follows them is going to see what they say, and when that doesn't happen, they get all upset. I get messages now, like, people get mad at me because, like, I don't respond to them because they tagged me, and I'm like, I'll tell you once, tell you a million times. All my notifications for Twitter and social media are turned off. So if I happen to see it, it's just because I have it in front of me and I'm scrolling through. Other than that, I usually just use the search engine and to see what people are saying about it, or the hashtags about it. Because you can get lost in that thing, man. Like you said, it could mess up your emotions, make you angry.
Yeah.
Like make you want to fight. Twitter is designed to fight. It's designed. You see something, you quote tweet it to your crew. Oh, look at this boy saying that, and then they quote tweet it to their crew, and then it's just like, then it's on. Then it's like, I can't take it anymore, I block you. And then, like, when you block someone, that's like the ultimate, like, oh, you're such a sissy, you had to block someone. But yeah,
that's why I love people who are like, they're just after hate clicks. The only reason they're around is for hate clicks. I'm like, what do you think Twitter is?
Yeah.
It is the biggest grifter on the internet. That's all Twitter is.
Yeah, I don't pay any. I have 2 Twitter accounts with over 20,000 followers, probably just the same people. And it's like, I tweet the dumbest thing.
You really do tweet the dumbest shit, but I love it.
Yeah, it's just like out of the blue, I'll just say something stupid, like I'm clipping my toenails, and it's just like 500 likes, and you're just like, you see, it's not that important, people. Like, just stop worrying about it. And then people will take one comment like a stop. Like that's all right. So this is how Drunk3Po became. It's like how it became. So my old Twitter account, after The Last Jedi,
Origin story, y'all. Everybody get your
I
popcorn.
was searching and I came across a guy named Brian Young who writes for StarWars.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Young was like in the thick of the Last Jedi fight. I didn't know who he was. He's very quiet now. He's kind of like, I'm done with all this fighting. I'm just gonna move on. Smart man. And he was doing a thread post about why the Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi is exactly how Luke should, like, basically that's exactly how Luke should appear, according to what I've seen in the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all I did was type in, you can't be serious, can you? How can you think that's Luke? The dude responded to me, and I had like 8 followers, right? On this old Twitter account that was like J9641. You know, it's one of those accounts. I didn't know what I was doing. Had the J letter, you know, as my avatar. And he's like, oh, there's another one of those, right? Like, and that was it. And then all of a sudden I started getting, he's a Yahtzee. I didn't want to like mess your YouTube page.
Wow.
He's a this, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, all I did was, I didn't even use a bad word. So I deleted that post, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then I'm like, Star Wars is so freaking backwards right now. We can't even talk about it. So what's the best backwards character? C-3PO, like, you know, drinking beer. It's the best. So
I love it. That's how it all came to be, huh?
Yeah, and then some guys asked me to be on their Star Wars podcast every Friday. And, you know, it was awesome. We did it in front of like 6 people. I loved it. You know, I love that there were 6 people listening to my stupid takes.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, start a channel, Jay. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. They're like, just record your thoughts. So I was like, and here we are.
Here you are.
Yeah.
No.
I started with an iPhone 8 with a microphone that wasn't even plugged in. I just held it.
And then last week you finally got a computer and a microphone and a camera.
I know. Here we are.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I mean that's how we all start. The crappy thing for me at this point is really it was after Mando season 2. I mean, everybody was on a high for Star Wars. I was back into modeling, like, you know, making stuff that I was excited about in Star Wars. And so I founded my channel on like, yeah, let's rehype Star Wars. Let's get back into it. It's time. Let's go. And then it all, for me, again, started to take a flush because we were past the sequel trilogy with the Gina Carano thing. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's social media governance in modern Hollywood. What are you going to do? Let's keep trucking. Maybe this is it, right? And we're going to keep going. And then it just kept getting worse. And kept getting worse and worse and worse. And now I've got this huge community that's founded off of a love for Star Wars, and I don't have a damn good thing to say about it right now.
Well,
what do you do? I mean, I've got freaking Darth Melvin coming on my show on Saturday, he's the biggest proponent for Disney Star Wars there is on the internet, and my community's on fire. They're on fire right now. They're like, yeah. Oh God, come on, of course. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Talk to the people, get everybody's side.
Gotta be honest, man. And that was the thing for me too. It was like Mando season 2. I was like, okay, back in this thing. Let's go. And I think for me the biggest thing with Mandalorian was when The Last Jedi came out. It was. You had Ryan Johnson himself going on Twitter and like giving people the middle finger for talking bad about his movie. And I've never seen that from like a director or a star.
I hate that guy so much.
Like he just was like the biggest troll on Twitter when people would talk trash about his film, and he would troll Star Wars fans. Like he would post a picture of Luke drinking the blue milk when people were like. He did that after like he also made fun of Star Wars theory too. Basically like, oh, I saw this.
Ryan Johnson did?
Yeah, it was like a subtweet. It didn't say theory's name in general, but like when that whole
crying,
when that whole crying thing with Luke happened, I think I gotta look through my archives, but I think I used it on the stream where he posted a picture of Luke drinking the booby milk. He's like, "Oh, I get tears every time I see this." So I was like, "Ah, dude."
That's the
Guy.
biggest thing that pisses me off, right? So when you have like an adult working in a multi-million-dollar industry that takes the time out of his day to be a dick to people that consume the material that you're producing, that's what really makes me mad, because you're a fucking child. You're an actual little child. That's what really pisses me off.
I'm telling you, that's what changed a lot for Star Wars fans. And then he had his fans that thought that was the best Star Wars film ever made.
Yeah.
So he would rally them all up, and rally up against. Oh man, that war was really something.
It birthed kind of unceremoniously this new type of Star Wars fan, and I really call them like the self-righteous Star Wars fans, who I think could watch a show, not even really like it that much, but then wait until somebody makes a negative review and just do whatever they can to try to hop on them, tell them why they're wrong, try to attack them, tell them they're a Yahtzee, tell them all these different things because they didn't like the show, when really all they felt like was, I don't really feel like they captured the magic of Star Wars at all. And they're like, well, you're a Yahtzee for sure. It's like
those little Disney stands.
What do you even call them?
It's the people that have like they have an avatar pic of like Rey, or Ahsoka, and they say all the right things. It's just to get the little Star Wars account to talk to them. Did I show you all that stuff with like the official Star Wars account? They call them another name.
No.
It's just like, this is who they cater to. It's such a weird. I'll have to pull it up.
Dude, I should have never been friends with you, Jay. You know why? Because you exposed me to the hard truth of how this whole thing works, and I don't like it, man. I don't like it at all.
Unless Star Wars blocked me.
I'd be shocked if they didn't block you.
I don't know why. I don't really say anything.
You're right. You talk about clipping your toenails.
Let's see.
Oh, you know what? You reminded me too. What did you text me the other day? Toast.
Oh, here we go. Oh man, don't start with that.
No, you told me to remind you. I want to hear the story, man.
I'll show you this first.
Okay.
Can you share my screen?
Yeah. What do you got?
So this is the official Star Wars Twitter account. And this is what these fans call it. It's really weird. Swagman.
Swagman?
Do you think Swagman likes the name Swagman? It's an honor to be named, says the official Star Wars account.
Okay.
And so the official Star Wars account responds to just weird stuff. And they just constantly, and you could look up this word like Swagman.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do that because it gets weirder. I just don't.
Is there like an urban dictionary for Swagman?
I don't know. It's just something that they started calling this Star Wars account, and it's weird. So here we go. All right, here we go. It's weird. Like, I've never seen a company act like this. All right. So Swagman is one of us. I love it. So it's the Star Wars admin. That's what they call it. So it's Swagman. Swagman getting caught in 4K being the biggest Hayden stan. It's just so weird. I love how Swagman kept the Kenobi banner to keep the Kenobi stands calm and added Andor. It's just, this is what they do. They call it, so they're calling him Swagman. Oh, he's speaking a different language.
Okay.
And people are talking to it. Hey, Swagman, I hope you're having a good day. Is it true that Swagman interacts with everyone else? It's just really
odd.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Well, I guess Swagman did find me. And then, I don't know why he's he just responds to these. He responds to those accounts that attack people, right?
Right.
Like they got the avatar here and he's like,
they're champions.
Right. So it's just, It's just weird, man. I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just weird. You never see a company doing that ever, like ever.
I can't think of any. I mean, I've seen some pretty funny responses on Twitter from what are supposed to be official, like, corporate pages, but it's weird.
Yeah, very. And so they respond to all this stuff, and I sent one to Ryan because this was like a few months ago. I was like, dude, this official account is like, it went into like this Star Wars podcast where they were talking about, forgive me everyone in the chat, but it's true. They were talking about like gay sex in Star Wars.
Okay.
And the official account came in there and was like, great conversation, guys. And you're just kind of like, I'm just like, really? And it's just, this is where we are, you know, with Star Wars. So, and it's not, I could care less what you talk about on a podcast, but it's what I'm saying is, it's like when you have like a corporate account, you know, they just don't do that kind of stuff. Like, it's just weird, man. It's just weird.
Well, it's odd, you know, to a degree, obviously, when an account like Star Wars hops into a conversation like that, because who's monitoring all these conversations and hopping in and finding them? Secondly, you know, they have this thing I'm just starting to learn about called environmental social governance. Have you ever heard of that? ESG?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. So
Yeah.
everybody who's saying, you know, they're just checking off a square on the checklist, that's an actual real thing.
Yeah. Well, we've been saying that forever, man.
I know, I didn't know anything about it, but
yeah,
that's a real thing.
You want to hear this dumb toast story?
You're even in the thumbnail. I don't know if you saw it, but you're actually in the thumbnail.
Ryan said, did you say my name? Yeah, I sent you that remember I sent you that thing, Ryan, about the official Star Wars account showing up in that podcast. I was talking about gay sex. It was just really weird. So
I just, you know, for me, it's again, it boils back to that, like, you know, everybody always says, is Star Wars political? Has it always been political? Like, yeah, I mean, to a degree it has been, for sure. But did you ever see George Lucas out on a press tour talking about how this is an allegory for the Vietnam War? Like, nah.
No,
not to my recollection.
All right, Olaf says,
yeah, it's time.
Here's a great piece of toast. Okay, so
You
on a
have to do
live
it.
stream,
Who knows when we back starts on gay sex?
it's true.
Navy boy. Okay, go ahead.
You have to share my screen.
Oh, okay.
So on my live stream, I was talking about, they just released information about the
Wait, hold on.
captain's
We got to
table.
thank him first.
I did thank him.
No, I got to thank him. Olaf,
go ahead.
for the €2. Thank you. Is that a euro? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was talking about the Galactic Star Cruiser again because they reviewed the captain's table that cost extra. It's just like the food.
Oh,
You get blue shrimp, and I'm reading this. So it's like, what do you get with the captain's table? And I got to this point here, and I read a welcome toast, and my mind, because of Disney, I literally thought they were talking about bread. I'm like, that's all you get is a piece of toast? Like it doesn't surprise me. This is how cheap they're going. I went rambling on for 3 minutes tops.
of course he did.
About how cheap they are and about they get a toast. And then everyone in the chat is putting 2 beer clank glasses together, like cheers. And I'm like, why y'all doing that? And then somebody sent a super chat saying, I think they're talking about giving you a toast like in Cheers. And I just got quiet for like, I was like,
Your whole chat was just sitting there like,
yeah, I wanted to do the same thing.
that's okay, buddy.
And I was like, well, I was trying to like save face and be like, well, would it not surprise you if all they gave you was a piece of toast?
Walk it back as quick as you can.
I couldn't help it. The rest of the stream was done. It was done. That's all they talked about for the extra hour. I was trying to bring up topics, and they were setting like stuff to read about toast. And then I'm like, oh dear God, it's over. It's freaking over.
This is why I love streaming with you, man. My cheeks hurt right now from smiling. It's so different than what I'm used to doing, right?
I'm just saying though, it's like you see all the cheap stuff you get. Like we just went over like the pizza that they started serving there. And that's why it just didn't register that you get a special here. Cheers to the people that paid extra.
You literally get a piece of bread
that you get extra. You paid extra for. We give you a toast. Yeah, and then right after that, a porn bot showed up and they started just putting F's in the chat. The porn bot just put the letter F in the chat.
It was one F. They didn't attack you, really. It's just one
That's
F.
all I needed to be done is one. It starts the whole like, little snowball on the top of the mountain and rolls down, then it's over. So yeah, the bots. It was quite a stream. I'll make sure to I probably won't live it down for a good month or so.
No, it's gonna be forever. And if you don't make a t-shirt, I'm gonna be mad. A little piece of toast. You gotta have like the halcyon in the background and then just a little piece of toast.
What should I say on that shirt? I give a toast. A special toast. A welcome toast.
It'd be something great.
It'll just say welcome toast. And put a piece of toast on it.
Yeah,
so
there you go. It'd probably sell like crazy.
I
right?
felt like it just I went back and watched, I was like, you could see when it registered in my face. It's just like
that oh shit moment.
Yeah, it's like I had like a crooked smile, like did I? In my mind's like, you really just did that on a live stream in front of hundreds of people, Jay. Good job.
I mean, you're kind of famous for like reading stuff. I mean, I literally bought you a speak and spell.
I know. It works well, by the way.
Does it? Good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I imagine you like late at night sitting there with your speak and spell. Like
it's in my car Jim right now.
Qui-Gon Jim. No, Jin. I got this.
The people get on me because I say She-Hulk. Like
you say,
Hulk,
you say She-Hawk. Yeah,
it's Hulk. It's just the way I pronounce it. She-Hulk.
You say She-Hawk and Qui-Gon Jim.
Yeah.
What was the other one you were doing the other day? Oh my God, you were talking about the Rings of Power. I was dying laughing watching your video. I'm not picking on you right now. No, not Rings. Right. It was the Shang-Chi guy.
Oh, Simu Liu.
Simu Liu, I think is his name. Yeah. And you're like, you said it once at the beginning of the video. You're like, Simu Liu. And then the rest of the time, you're like,
I just kept messing
Simu Ku, Simu Liu, Sailor Moon.
Exactly. I was like, whatever at this point.
It was just fun. I'm sorry. I was having a good time with that. Okay. So here's my question. Because, I mean, we have to get some hard-hitting news here.
Okay.
If somebody was going to buy Star Wars, who do you think it would be, and what would that mean for the parks? You got any ideas?
The theme parks?
Well, I mean, look, if Apple buys Star Wars, what does that mean for the theme park? You know,
it probably won't go anywhere. That's like here in Orlando, like Universal had like bought a special contract with Marvel before Disney bought it. So you walk through Marvel Town, they have the Incredible Hulk ride, a Spider-Man ride, and all this stuff in Universal, which is now owned by Disney, and all the Marvel characters are there, which is kind of funny. And that's the only place where you can buy a Marvel shirt that doesn't belong to Disney, because they have a special license that lasts for it's like it lasts a long time. So it lasts a long time. And there was a rumor going around, which is really interesting. There was a rumor going around that they thought Disney was going to like press them really hard to get rid of it because they wanted it in their parks. They want Marvel in their parks and in Orlando. And so Universal was ready to change the Marvel Town into a Cybertron. So they built a Transformers ride to replace Spider-Man ride. And Then when Disney couldn't take it away in court, they built the Transformers ride on the other park. And if you ride both those rides, like if you ride the Transformers ride, then you go ride the Spider-Man, it's very, very similar.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Reskin.
Pretty much. But I like the Transformer ride. It's pretty cool. So
I just want to go ride some rides, man.
Yeah. So I don't know what would happen to the parks. I mean, Galaxy's Edge is such an easy fix. I mean, it's a 2-dial fix.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. It's just like what these idiots do with Star Wars there, it makes me, this is why we laugh at them. Because they made an announcement. Darth Vader will return to the theme parks, but will not be in Galaxy's Edge. He will be over there by Buzz Lightyear in Tomorrowland.
What?
So if you want to meet Darth Vader, he's standing over there next to Buzz Lightyear.
Explain that.
Buzz Lightyear's ride. Well, Galaxy's Edge is a timeline period. And because people are paying thousands of dollars to stay in the hotel in this time period, they don't want it broken when they wander through Galaxy's Edge out of the hotel.
Way to shackle the shit out of yourself. Like, why
Disney
wouldn't you
caters to
basically
the
make a
super rich.
Tomorrowland that's why.
Yeah. So they don't want Darth Vader roaming through the parks because he doesn't fit that timeline, which is the Last Jedi timeline. So it's so stupid. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, they're shackling themselves and they're pissing people off in the process. I don't get it.
And now the Galaxy's Edge in California, they're like, all right, we're gonna let other characters roam around since there's no hotel there. So now they got Boba Fett and all those others like roaming around. So
you remember earlier when you said, I think they're dumb, but I don't think they're dumb. I think they might be like dumb.
I just don't. I just want to sit at the. I just want to sit at the round table for a discussion.
Just one,
and just be like, all right, so we're gonna spend $2 billion on a Star Wars land. It's gonna be boring because we're not gonna play John Williams music, which is pretty much half of Star Wars as it is. That music hits you, and you're like, you're in the zone, man. Then we're only gonna put in like 3% of Star Wars. How's that sound, everybody? Great idea, boss.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, please, let's do that.
And all those people that like Darth Vader, they're gonna die off soon, so it's not a big deal. So
I mean, I probably will, but I'm just saying. What is it gonna take, bro? And they brought him back. That's the worst part too. So now they're wagging it in your face and apparently sticking him next to Buzz Lightyear in Tomorrowland.
It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. Like, here's the thing too, and this is why we laugh at him, because all the other IPs that they have, so they have Avatar, Toy Story, all that stuff. They don't treat those like that at all.
Yeah.
So when you go to Avatar, you're literally in the world. The music, everything's there. There's no timeline. You're actually in Pandora. The way they built it, and then of course, because James Cameron still owns the majority stock, I guess, of Avatar, Disney's just a distributor through Fox.
Yeah.
He had to sign. The story is interesting there. Like, he had to sign off on everything in that park.
Yep.
Like, he went there like 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and he like looked at the plant life and stuff and was like, that ain't it. Get it out. Nope, I don't approve. So like, that's cool that somebody did that. They did the same thing at Harry Potter World.
One movie.
Yeah.
That dude had one movie and they gave him that.
And so like the Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling's came in multiple times. We're like, nope, can't have that. It's not part of the world. Get it out.
I'm surprised the SJWs haven't burned that park down already.
It's more packed than any place at Universal.
I believe it. I believe it, man. It looks so
cool. It's just people on Twitter that are dumb. So
yeah,
and those are the ones that have no money. Those are the same people that have no money to buy the lightsabers or anything. And this is who they cater to. And they're the ones that. And then it's like, you're catering to people that are flat broke. And because they stretched it, like, they're like, we charging $6,000 for a hotel, and people are going. We're charging $5,000 for an exotic Star Wars drink on the new cruise ship, and only one person has bought it since it's launched. And because you could keep track, only one person has bought that. They're thinking, well, people got money here, $1,500, or what was it, $500 for the Riva lightsaber? Go ahead, they'll sell out. So it's just like, it's like here we are. And
Here we are.
it's the crazy thing about the hotel is like we're watching it slowly. They think it's like it's doing well, but it's
Well, the
it's
worst
not.
part is right now, and I have to wonder if there's a little bit of excuse my French. I wonder if there's a little bit of tomfuckery going on here, because I had just heard from somebody who was just on the Galactic Star Cruiser, and they said it was full. Everybody was there. They were enjoying it. They were having a good time. It was busy. There were a bunch of people there, and I'm like, man, would you put it beyond Disney for them to send people in plain clothes?
That's exactly what they're doing. So when they don't sell up to 40%, they open it up to the cast members to stay there, so it's full. And that's a fact. So, and then the cast members are allowed to bring a friend.
Well, there you go.
So that's what's going on with that whole thing. And it's really small because like to fill it up, it's 100 people and it's full.
That's
so
it?
It's not. Yeah, it's that small. So it
Oh.
like even if it's like packed with 50 people, it'll look full.
Yeah.
So it's but yeah, so what they're doing is they send messages out to the cast members, which are the employees of Disney. If you guys want to go, like we need to fill it up so you can go. So
Wow. So
yeah,
if you
so
work
when you
at
see
Disney,
people-
you can go for free.
Well, it's not free, it's like heavily discounted, but that's why you see when you go to the Galaxy's Edge and you see people coming off the Halcyon, it's like 20-year-olds, and you're like, a lot of rich 20-year-olds coming off that, and they all know each other. They come off and they're like, "Oh, hey, Billy, hey, what's going on?" Here? So,
TikTokers, social media people getting invites and shit like that to say how amazing it is.
They're the ones that go in for free, yeah. So,
and they worked it into the new Lego special too.
So the Lego special, you ready for that?
Yeah.
You ready? Did you watch it?
Hell no. I didn't watch it.
All
Actually,
right, so,
believe it or not, my moderator, one of my moderators, Matt Risman of my community, like loves Lego. He's been trying to get me to watch it. I don't know if I can bring myself to do it, man. Like I'm so far down the road at this point. I was on Fortnite. I saw Vader doing a freaking teach me how to Dougie, and I'm like, Star Wars is what has happened?
So for Legos, they kind of get a pass with me a little bit because it's supposed to be like silly and goofy and stuff like that. I really liked the Christmas special. I thought it was funny because they poked fun at The Last Jedi.
Right.
This is no different, but they literally it's the story of the three ghosts of Christmas. You don't mind
an
spoilers.
Advertisement for the Halcyon.
You're right. I'm gonna get to that. You don't mind spoilers, chat. You guys don't mind if I spoil the Lego Summer Vacation 45-minute movie. So basically, Finn is on the Star Cruiser. He has all his friends left him, and he gets visited by old Obi-Wan. The three Jedi. Ready for the three Jedi that visit him to tell him?
Okay. All right.
You have old Obi-Wan, who retells a story about how he snuck into Jabba's palace. You have young Anakin, who retells a story of when Palpatine was stressed out and he was Darth Vader and he took him on a vacation to the beach. You have Anakin, who's changed, tells a story about when he was Darth Vader and he's telling this to Finn. And then the last one, it's not Luke, it's Leia. So Leia shows up and this is where it gets weird. Retells the story of young little Kylo and his best friend Chewbacca right before they drop him off to go meet Uncle Luke to start his training, and how they went camping. And he ends up getting into a little mischief and steals the Falcon, and Dad's a little mad.
Okay.
So now you have little Kylo kissing on Han and Leia and hugging, and Chewbacca's sad. Chewbacca doesn't want him to go to training, and you're like, you know where this is going, right? He's gonna stab you, in a couple of years, Dad. He's gonna try to kill you, Mom. And Luke's gonna go walk off somewhere and be a hermit. This is very weird, for kids. But let me show you this real quick.
I don't want to be that way, my dude.
It's really crazy. So look at this real quick. So when the first trailer came out for the Lego, and I give a lot of forgiveness for Lego, but so it was pretty much
it's Lego.
It was well received, right? 3,000 downvotes.
Yeah.
2,000. Now, when it was told, when the next clip came out, when it was about the Star Cruiser, when people realized this was nothing but a huge all it is a huge commercial
It's
for the
for
Star
Halcyon.
Cruiser.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, look at this. Let's share this one. People were like, they are downing Lego Star Wars. And they switched the video over to kids content so there would be no comments.
Right, and it doesn't look like we removed comments on this video. It's on the kids channel.
There are more people that thumbed down than thumbed up because they realized at this moment this is nothing more than a giant commercial for the Star Cruiser, and you're just like, this is where they've become. You know, this is what they're doing. They called Lego and they go, "Hey, we need a little boost.
Yeah, we need some help here."
But this is the problem. Again, this is the other problem with Star Wars, the stuff that we laugh at. When the Star Cruiser was being built, others reported, Ryan reported, we're like, they're gonna inject this stupid hotel into real Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
And people were like, nah, why would they do that? It's just a hotel.
Oh no, it's
And
everywhere
sure enough,
in Star Wars lore.
and we've watched it now. Everybody's been on there. They've made books. The new book that came out, The Princess and the Scoundrel.
Oh, Han and Leia took their honeymoon on the Halcyon.
Yeah, and I think you could stay in their room with a black light.
Of course. Why not?
Now it's in the Lego lore, and it's in the High Republic series, and pretty soon they're gonna do something with Baby Yoda really soon.
I mean, that would make sense, right? They're gonna throw Baby Yoda.
Well, think about it now. It's like everyone goes to Galaxy's Edge to get a picture taken with Baby Yoda. If they had like a really expensive mechanical, almost lifelike, and they're like, if you go on the hotel, you get to hang out with.
You can buy one for like $125,000 if you want.
6,000's a little cheaper, and you can hang out with it for two days.
Yeah.
So,
eventually the bottom line is they're going to run out of people who are willing to spend that amount of money for a weekend in a hotel. I know there are a lot of wealthy people out there, but there are not a lot of wealthy people who love Star Wars and who are willing to go to. From the jump street, it's a bad business plan in my eyes. I don't know how they thought this was going to be sustainable or how they thought people were going to keep spending that amount of money with such a small section of the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was with you if it was done well.
Don't even fuck with me, bro.
If the Halcyon is in Mando, I will die. That actually, I really hope.
No,
because my channel will start to
your
explode.
Content, your fucking content's gonna be out of here. Honestly,
15 videos on that alone.
Yeah,
and the first one will just be like, I tried to tell you.
The longest running cruise ship in history ever.
All right, so Ryan's here. I'm gonna give you all a little information. I'm gonna share something with you from my guy that works there. Yeah, you sure you want to see it?
Yeah, might as well.
All right, let me find it here.
I mean, no, I don't want to. But what are you gonna do? This is what it is.
I gotta make sure his name's not covered. So this is
there.
This is what they're working on. This is the sculpture that's coming.
Oh,
it's coming, baby! It's coming to the Halcyon. There's the head.
Why wouldn't you?
He sent me the picture. So
only smart decision they've made up to this point. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Okay, I may lose some people here, but I have a soft spot for Grogu. I think he's adorable. I love the little thing. I can't help myself. I think Grogu's super cute. I don't buy Grogu merch, but he's a pretty cool little character. Having said that, you can tell when they're milking the shit out of that thing, left, right, upside down, and sideways, and they are definitely milking the shit out of it.
Well, it's all they got, man.
Mando's pretty cool.
Mando without Baby Yoda. And see, this is the problem. This is the copy and paste.
He was cool in season 2, though, when he was cutting people in half with the Darksaber and stuff. I was about that.
No? Right. What I'm saying is, so you have like the father figure and the child.
Right.
And then they tried to copy that with Kenobi, the father figure and the child.
Yeah.
So I fully expect to see little Leia series running around, you know.
With who?
With Alderaan, with those friends of hers, getting into little kid adventures, you know.
Yay.
And then 10 years from now, Ewan McGregor will be 10 years older. Luke and Leia will be 10 years older. And we'll get a New Hope.
Don't fucking say that.
That's what I think is going to happen.
You really think they're going to redo A New Hope?
Oh, 100%.
I
100%.
How do you react to something like that if that gets announced? What do you do? Is it just like this?
Here's how you know how they're going to announce it? We're going to remake A New Hope and honor George's legacy, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, the old men are going to they're going to cry. Let them cry." That's what they're going to say. They're
Yeah,
like,
the old basement nerds, the neckbeards.
The neckbeards are going to cry about it.
You see what happens to me? I put on a live stream. I try to make people, I try to make people happy. I bring them entertainment on a nice, Thursday night, and they just treat me like shit. What do you do?
Ryan said they're gonna wait till George dies. I think they're just gonna do it in exactly 10 years. Yeah, I think they're gonna do it in 10 years. I think they'll use, if Ewan McGregor is still alive, which he should be, then they'll be able to tie in all the loose ends, everything to connect the dots. They could easily connect the dots with everything if they do it themselves. And then it'll be one big story.
I feel like at that point it's a step too far. You see Xwing in like Antifa clothes going to Lucasfilm, like breaking windows and shit. That's too much. That's too much. You can't remake A New Hope.
And this is why we're working on our own stuff, because that's just what we say they can't, but they can.
Yeah, they could do it tomorrow if they want.
I mean, listen, the truth is, it ain't Luke who's the savior now. It's Reva. Because if Reva had the opportunity, she wanted to kill Luke. And she didn't do it. And it's like... And so now, because she saved Luke's life and had a change of heart at the last second, she is now the savior of the original trilogy.
Yeah, Darth Vader doesn't turn without Luke. So if Luke doesn't survive...
And then it's they could pump Reva into A New Hope. They could do all that stuff, They could add all these characters in.
I mean, they don't stand a chance of recreating it in any way that fucking means anything, but they can still do it. And he brings up a good point, man. I mean, they've done everything else at this point. Like, how the hell are you gonna remake any of these old Disney movies? Well, they're doing it. They're doing it.
George has in his contract they can't touch the first 6 movies. That's not true. They will still have his movies, but they'll just redo it.
Or like
that's how you get around it. That's how you get around it. You don't erase the original. You're just saying, we're just gonna redo it.
Dude, look at Rings of Power.
Watch the old Star Wars, it's right here.
Rings of Power is a perfect example of that. They didn't buy all the rights they needed to actually tell the stories they needed to tell from that age. And so they're making a new story with the same character names because they have the rights to the same character names, but they're completely different characters. Completely different.
And people are surprised when we say stuff like this. People are surprised. When they've taken every single one of George's creation characters and put them in the toilet it started with The Last Jedi. Let's crap on Luke to raise up Rey. It's lazy writing. It's quick storytelling to think, look, Rey's better, so like her. She's more powerful. She's more this. So then down it goes, right?
She's a dyad.
And so that's what they did. Boba Fett sucked. So, but when Mando was in it, everybody was like, "Whoa, yeah! Look at Mando, he's awesome. Oh, Mando's gonna help Boba Fett win. Yeah, Mando's the best." And then all that goodwill they had in the end of Mandalorian season 2 with Luke coming back, and everybody, and me included, loved it. I loved it for what it was. And then they bring in Boba Fett, where Luke's like, "You gotta choose, little baby. You either get the chainmail or Yoda's lightsaber." And then
why did they put fucking chainmail in Star Wars? Somebody explain to me why they put fucking medieval armor in Star Wars. Anybody got a good answer?
And then it was then Luke got mad and just punt kicked Baby Yoda in his X-wing and said, "Get him out of here, R2.
Peace, bitch.
I'm not
R2's
even
gonna take you home."
Yeah, I'm not even gonna drive you myself. All that goodwill. Then what was the point of Luke even showing up at that point? You know, there was no point.
Do you have to wait until the next season, Jay? You haven't seen all the episodes yet.
Consume, man. They're just pumping out product at this point, but it's good. It makes me. I like watching it now because it's entertaining. I did an interview with on the podcast with Disparu, up and coming YouTuber. Is gonna pass me in subs. Probably did today. He really does a great job in telling stories in his reviews. And I was like, "Is there anything that you like?" He's like, "Actually, I like bad TV. That's what's entertaining to me now." So it's like his whole mind has switched to, instead of waiting for something good, we're just gonna laugh at all the bad stuff because it's just really bad.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that makes so much sense now, because I'm like, not to change the topic of Star Wars, I'm like watching all this She-Hulk stuff that they are pushing that show like they couldn't push a show, and they just released like the first minute of that show. They're like Daredevil, and everyone's gonna watch because everybody wants to see Daredevil. They want to see this, and they're like, look at all the new people coming. They are pushing that show like no one's business, man. And
I want to watch She-Hulk. I'm excited for it.
I'm just saying, She-Hulk was one of my favorite Marvel characters, and she was created because she was in a car accident, and Bruce Banner saved her life because he did a blood transfusion. And what made She-Hulk unique at the time, she had the powers, but she also had her brains.
Right.
So when Hulk would change, he would turn into the big dumb guy, you know, and he would come back down as Bruce Banner. But she also had the brains, so it was a unique take on that character. Unique. I can't even speak. And so she became part of the Fantastic Four at one point. She became an Avenger at one point. She was awesome. And then like there was like a poster that every Marvel kid had. She was on Venice Beach in a bikini, and she was like lifting like all these weights, and it was a special edition poster that everybody had. I had that on my wall for years when I was a kid. And
are you getting those old timey feelings when you're watching these trailers for She-Hulk?
It's terrible because she's like on Tinder, like looking for dates. It's just like that's just not who she was. Like because they've even come out and they said it's an all these women. They directed it and wrote it, and they turned her into a comedy. Yeah. Which I don't mind comedy, stuff like that, but the whole show. So now they literally gave out the whole show. So she's going to be an attorney for all the mutants, the weirdos, the creatures, the monsters. And of course, Daredevil is also an attorney, and they're going to get a client, and they're going to bash heads, and they're going to fight, and they're going to have to figure, and this is a guess, everyone. I have no inside source. But it's just the writing's on the wall because they're both attorneys. They're going to fight at some point over some, Jay wants all his superheroes to be virgins. I
wasn't going to bring it up on screen. I was just
going to laugh at it. She could date, but it's like the fact that that's just not who she really was. Like she was a really smart, intelligent fighter. And she wasn't as strong as Hulk in the comic books, but she was pretty close. So she was able to like beat villains in a different way because she was smart, you know. She was able. But
do you have any idea how excited I am to chop up everything you just said when She-Hulk comes out and just make a totally bad video? She-Hulk is my favorite.
Well, she was one of my favorites in the comic books. It was pretty good. But yeah, like no, it was. I'm doing reviews on all these shows, man. We got Rings of Power. I got She-Hulk. I'm gonna have My Nerdy Home with me. We're gonna do She-Hulk together.
I'm getting my brother for Rings of Power because he's
me and you got Andor.
Tolkien nerd. Yeah, we got to do Andor. There's so much trash to cover. I don't even know how
It's all popping off. So...
And then we're waste management, and then when it finally comes time to golf, we'll call it the Waste Management Open.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
Ryan's in
we
the
got it.
chat. He's a excellent golfer. So
Is Ryan a good golfer?
yeah, you gotta
Got a
get
frame
to,
for a good golfer.
you gotta
yeah.
get to, man. I just gotta like figure out how to get you to Orlando. So we can
Yeah,
all
you
go
can just
golf.
fly me down here. It's fine.
Well, if all these reviews do really well, I'll have the money.
I want to hit some of these Florida golf courses. All right, everybody. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. I feel like we didn't do anything when it came to Star Wars. We didn't fix anything. We failed.
Well, I know Ryan's been saying this and others. Andor could probably be one of the best products that they've given us so far. Doesn't mean it's going to be great.
I'm
but
hoping it's Rogue One 2.0.
it doesn't mean it's going to be terrible, because we're dealing with characters that we already know they're going to die.
Everybody fucking dies.
No one has ever really gone.
You had to, bro. You just
Freaking
had to.
Darth Maul. At the end of the day, like, they're going to come out with like Darth Maul's going to make a guest appearance.
At Rey's birthday.
Yeah, at like movie number 12, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a new trilogy."
He was
Darth
in
Maul's
Bacta
gonna
the
get a
whole time.
Yeah, exactly. He was frozen by his brother.
Tusken Raiders
So-
picked him up from the sands of Tatooine and stuck him in Bacta.
Yeah, back to all right, back to crap. It's like somehow I kept him alive. That's just what they'll do, man. It's just dangle stuff, but we'll see.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. But
All
our
right.
review, everybody loves our reviews, so we'll keep it going.
We'll keep it going. Look forward to Andor. Hopefully it's
September.
a good thing. Late September, I think. Oh my God, I'm not going to be here, Jay.
Yeah, where are you gonna be?
I'm going to be in the Caribbean at the end of September.
Well, I'll do one without you then.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Well, they released the first 3 and
The first week.
yeah.
So will you be there for that?
No, that's what I'm going to be gone for. We'll work it out. Anyway. All right, everybody, thank you so much
Dude,
for
go
joining
live
us
with the
tonight.
beach in the back and the waves.
Talking about Andor.
Yeah, and
That's actually not a bad
have
idea.
a coconut drink and be like, "Did you see the 3?" Dude, I don't care.
Yeah,
On my
honestly,
honeymoon, it's nothing but
couldn't-
sex and drinks, man. It's great.
couldn't be bothered to give a fuck. All right, everybody, before we head out, I wanted to bring this up real quick. There's a link at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to link it in the chat as well. A good friend of mine, his father was in a car accident. Star Wars Santa Brian, his father was in a car accident with a unlicensed and uninsured driver. He's in a lot of hurt right now, and he needs some help. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He needs some help. And regardless of whatever differences we all have when we think about Star Wars and stuff like that, we got to remember to be good humans. And so if you can help out, do anything. If you can pop over, drop $1, 75 cents, whatever's left in the couch, I would really appreciate it, because we got a friend who's in need right now. So stop by, show some love. Make sure you know that Xwing and 3PO sent you over there. And I think that's it. Anything you want to plug with my tiny ass channel there, Jay?
Subscribe to Xwing. His channel is doing worse than mine.
You fucking asshole.